Hello, welcome to part 19 of making Minecraft in Python. Can you believe it, in Python? Using Peter Amland's wonderful um, giant chicken. No, 3D game engine called Ursina. So here we are. So what I want to do in this video is show you something I've actually prepared this time. Although don't worry, I haven't prepared everything. So it's not all going to go okay. So we'll still have some fun. It'll be an adventure. Um, but yeah, there is some preparation this time, so we will move through some things and make some progress. So what I want to do is actually save the terrain, all the features of the terrain, including stuff that we've built or mined. Talking of which, let's do some mining. Let's go. Where should we go? This kind of like flat piece of land here. I want to do a cross. So I want to be able to save like everything, and including things that I've mined or things that we've built. So there we've got a little distinctive cross that we've made in the terrain there, and we could indeed fill it with some like rubies or something. There we go. Actually, let's dig that out and put some netherite or whatever it is there. Okay, so I've just realised I'm using the wrong script. I'm using the script from 2018, from part 18. So actually, this is not going to save, but this was too good anyway. Seed 100. It looks too good. That's why that went wrong. Anyway, this does give me a chance actually to bring up these screenshots. Yes, it was Varchaz. I'm sorry, I've said that wrong. Let me know how to say it. Let's try again. Varchasov. Varch. He asked, could you do a tutorial to make a command to save a file that when opened will play the game and it will remember every voxel, the position, color, texture, and also the player's position, like you can save worlds in Minecraft? And I've said, yeah, that's a very good idea. I'll look into it as soon as possible. That was a month ago, but I have got that now working, Varch. So thank you for that comment, and this is what this video is about. So let's just go into my prepared code, and let's run that and show you it working so far. Right, 107, yeah, this is a horrible little terrain. There's Vincent. Right, let's make the terrain a little larger actually. So I've turned on generating the terrain. And I remember last video, I think, is when we could stop generating the terrain by just going into build mode, or mining mode, by pressing F. Let's press F. There we go. We're in build mode, and we can go to the edge of the world now, and we could fall off. Okay, actually, let's just take that off. Let's mine that little block off. There you go. Digging underneath Noah. So we'll kind of go underneath Vincent here. And what we'll do, we'll make our cross again so that we've got a distinctive shape that we can try and find when we've loaded this terrain again. So here's our terrain. To save it at the moment, oh, I was going to put some stuff in there. Let's put some rubies in there. And netherite in the middle. Brilliant. Okay. So I'll go over here and I'll press B. Save it. There's a little bit of a pause. Oh, that's interesting. There's a little bug already. It's covered up again. The terrain. Oh, that's probably right. Anyway, I'm not going to work that out now. But anyway, let's escape from here. So we've definitely shut down the program. We'll run it up again. And we'll probably hope, well, we might get the same seed because that will kind of ruin the demonstration. Oh no, it is actually a different seed, although I almost fell into a cave or something. Right, so it's 110. And now Vincent's over there. If I press N, it should load the file that it's just saved. There we go. And puts us back in the air to fall down. There we go. Now if I go and find Vincent, there is our cross. So it's actually saved and it saved the positions of the terrain as well. And we can continue mining. Yep, so this terrain works, and we can continue building as before. I shouldn't actually be able to build in here because there we go, I'm trying to build there, that won't work. There are blocks there, but they belong, if you remember from the previous few videos, the builds model. So what I'm actually doing is, every time I build, I'm saving these blocks to a separate model to the rest of the terrain, just so that we can work with it a little bit easier. And for some other reasons to do with the mining, I think, that I can't remember. But anyway, I'm just spontaneously very artistic this video. Sorry. There we go. It'd be nice if we created some trees or something using this. Anyway, let's go and show you how to do that then. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is, I need to save this as tutorial 19. So let's save this script, this module, I should say, as version 19. Save that. So now any changes that I'm going to make, like changing this comment from 18 to 19, doesn't mess up the code that you're trying to maybe work with following along. Okay, and also, actually the mining system, I can just work with, because I'm then at the end of this video, like I've done in the previous ones, I'll copy this code but call it mining system version 19, and then obviously if you want to copy that file, because it's being imported, this is the main module now, the tutorial, because it's being imported, there we are, the mining system, import mining system class, this has to match the name of the module itself. So if you're using like a version 19, the actual file name you'll have to rename to just mining system py. Or I guess you could change it here. You could say it'll be something like version 19. So if that one's called version 19, now that would work with version 19 one. Anyway, the one I'm going to work with is just called mining system, so I'll keep it there. Right. Okay, so the first thing we want to do after just setting things up is reinstate megasets, because if we go down to our old friend generating the terrain, which we made in the first, 6 parts, down the bottom of that we're asking the question, are we ready to build a subset? And then after that we're saying, if the current subset that we're working on matches the total number of subsets we're allowed, we better combine all of those subsets into one megaset and then recycle the old subsets. But because we were just testing things when we were getting the mining working, which is almost perfect now, there's one little bug that I have to sort out in an upcoming video when we get into the biomes. I just commented all this megaset stuff out before to make things so that things would work. So now let's just reinstate this. So check the megaset stuff. Yeah, so I can delete this message. So this message we wrote in the past to our future selves, which is ours now. Hey, is everything working? And yes, it is. Check the megaset stuff. So now we're going to check it and reinstate it. Okay, so the first thing we do is actually create a megasets entity or an entity which is the cube model, and uses the cube model, and it uses the cube texture just so that all the textures and things will work. However, I'm actually going to make all the megasets at the start now. I'm going to instantiate all the megasets just like we instantiate all the subcubes and the subsets. The reason being, what is the reason? I think it makes it easier to save the file. I think that was the original reason. Although this would mean, anyway, let's let's do what I've done in my prepared code and not go off piste. So, you know what? We'll come back to this bit. Since we're not making megasets, we better go and instantiate that to begin with. So I've just scrolled up in the code. So yeah, underneath all the imports, we've got our main character variables, we've got our textures and models, and then important variables for the terrain generation and the little message to tell us what seed we're working with. Then we've got our megasets, subsets, and subcubes lists. So what we want to do is actually instantiate entities and put them in this list already. And we do that here, look, with our subsets. We make a model, an entity, with a cube model, give it a texture, disable it, and then append it or add it to the subsets list. We also do that for the subcubes. Where are the subcubes? That's weird. Where are they? They've got to be here somewhere. Well, there's that. So there are essentially our empty subsets. There we make our axe. Oh, there we are. Subset cubes down the bottom here. So let's bring these up to the top as well. I don't know why. Oh, sorry, it's because I've deleted something up the top in another function that those are going wrong. So we've got our, actually we'll make the subcubes first because they're the smallest. Then we've got the subsets, and basically we just want to do this again, but for the megasets. And we'll say we'll have 420 of them. No, that's a silly number. We'll just have 99 of them. And yep, we want the cube model, the cube texture, exactly the same. Oh, should we make it smaller as well? I'm just thinking that might solve the problem of that horrible, weird, random one. Yeah, I'll just try that. Go off script. Scale times equals 0. Will that work? Anyway, empty megasets. And obviously we're not appending this to the subsets list, we're appending this to the megasets list. There we go. So now we've made our subcubes, our subsets, and our 99 megasets. Meaning that when we go back to the update function, not the update function, sorry, the generate terrain function, we don't have to append a new entity. All those entities have just been have already been instantiated. I'm wondering, what have I deleted? End of fast and triple quote. Oh right, okay. I forgot to delete the triple quotes at the end there. Okay, so that's what was causing all those problems. So, well, since we're here, let's just have a look at the rest of what this little bit of code is doing. So for every subset, we've made a temporary variable called s, and then we're making sure that it is parented to the current, now we don't want -1 for our index. That would mean the last megaset that's been made. We want to actually just find the current megaset, which is probably a variable that doesn't exist. So let's copy and paste that up later on. We'll also say, yeah, current megaset there. And I guess what we now want to do is say current megaset plus equals 1. So we go to the next megaset. Let's go to the top where our variables are. We'll find current subset, current cube, current subset, and we'll just add under there current megaset equals 0. So in other words, we start with the first megaset at index 0 on our list of megasets. So in here. There we go. And while I'm up with the variables here, for our save file thing, or loading a terrain once we've saved it, what we'll actually do is just empty out all of the current subsets and subcubes and megasets and everything, load in the new one from the file, and before doing that we're going to have to instantiate all of these entities again. So we'll need to, these 3 instantiation loops we'll need to revisit. So let's put them all into a function so we don't have to copy that code and put it somewhere else. So we'll define a function and call it create terrain entities. There we go. And so now all we have to do is put this code onto the next tab. There we go. So it's in the correct tab block. Okay, now let me just have a look at my prepared code, because presumably these variables we're referring to, number of subcubes and cube model, etc., they'll need to be made global. But did I do that in my prepared code? Let's go and have a look. I've called, yeah, worst name, look, instantiate terrain entities, and I haven't made it global. I think I did at one point, look, and then I've commented that out and it still must be working. So let's leave that like that. Okay, so right, so the only thing that's not working then with the megasets now is our mining system. So in the mining system, first of all, in the constructor function where it's initialized, we're passing in information about the subject, our axe, our camera, and the subsets. We also then need to pass in megasets. Yeah. So let's go back into the main module, and we'll scroll up to where, is it up? No, it's down. We want to scroll to where we instantiate our mining system. So there we go. So we've got our subject, our axe, our camera, and the subsets passed in, and we just need to pass in our megasets list. So now Varch, our mining system, can get hold of all the megasets as well. Why does it want to get hold of the megasets? It wants to get hold of them so that we can look through all the vertices and do mining, namely in our mine function. So I'm just scrolling down. Now I'm in the mining system module. We'll scroll down there, and we only have to change one function. Not build. Here we are, mine. So as a reminder again, first it cycles over, or iterates over, loops over all the vertices in the builds model. So builds is anything that we've built or any cubes that have spawned to create the illusion of further layers. Then we do exactly the same thing for the vertices in all of our subsets. So in fact, all we need to do is copy this code and change subsets, anywhere we see subsets, to megasets. What would be better actually is, because it's doing exactly the same thing, is to use a variable and just pass in subsets and megasets. But I'm not going to do that. that could be some homework. You could do that, and I'll just do this horrible thing. Right, so I'm going to go underneath. It makes sense to do the subsets first and then the megasets. Just get my eye in where to paste this. There we go. Because presumably there's going to be fewer subsets, or the subsets are going to be smaller. So when we're looking through all these vertices, we're going to find what we're looking for more quickly if we look through the subsets first, potentially. By all means, play around with the order of these, especially if you improve my code so you only look at it, go through once, and see what works faster. And report back in the comments. That'd be amazing. Right, megasets. Copy that. Oh, I know something I haven't done. In the constructor function, we haven't got a handle on our megasets yet. I'm sure this should go blue in my editor, just like the subsets has. Right. So that's copied. So now this, when we call the mine function, if we happen to be on a megaset, which has combined all these subsets, there's no longer any subsets there, it's not the builds model, but it's the model of the megaset, then we should be able to look through its vertices and perform exactly the same mine spawning and building anything that we need to build, like we've done in the last few videos. So I just need to do one more thing up in the initialization of our mining system class object. Here we are. So there we've got this parameter. Notice it's grey in my IDE, meaning I've not actually used this. And crucially, I do. We need to do this. A reference to the trained subsets is needed for mining, and we need that now to the megasets. So this dot megasets equals underscore megasets. I just use the underscore, so I know that I'm talking about this parameter variable, which is just a temporary thing. There we go. And megasets. Just to update our comments. Arrow to the trained subsets and megasets are needed, and then references, let's make that plural, there we are. References to the terrain, subsets and megasets are needed for mining, etc. I feel like a smiley face is needed there as well. Okay, so let's now run the main module and just check that we haven't got any basic bugs going on. Yep, like a basic bug here. Where's that? List index out of range. So I've changed a name that I shouldn't have changed, or something like this. Where is this happening? In generate terrain function, line 252. Yeah, in the main module, line 252. Subcube. Oh, so it can't get hold of this cube. Oh, I know what I've done. Yes, this is a basic bug. And this kind of thing could be very mysterious if you've got a fairly complex or complicated project like ours. It's pretty complicated now. It's got several modules and they're all quite long. There's somewhat organised. I was going to say badly organised, but we've kind of organised it. So anyway, at the beginning, we've created this new function, create terrain entities, but we've never called it. So actually, this code that's creating these entities never happens. So after we've defined that, we then want to actually call it, we can just do that underneath. create terrain entities, done. Now everything, now this will be called. So it's just as though we've written all of this without it being in a function now. It will just call that code. Right, so there's one bug. Is that fixed? Shall I have some coffee? Oh. There we go. I've landed on a tree. I'm in seed 105 and our terrain is working. So we presume we've got megasets. My plan to have this disappear didn't work, so making the scale 0, that hasn't worked. But anyway, at least we've tried something. So we've got, let me just pause. Right, I'm back. Okay, sorry about that, I just had to pause. Let's run that again. Oh yeah, so our code was actually working, wasn't it? That we adapted. What seat? Oh, is this 107? No, 104. Very steep. Oh yeah, and yeah, that fix didn't fix anything. But now, if I wander around a little while, I can just about see my terminal bottom left. So I haven't made this full screen, which is useful. We should get a megasets, what do we call it? Console log, sorry. Just telling us how many megasets have been made. And it does that via the current megaset. Which I don't see happening yet. Maybe we have to have a look at how many subsets make a megaset. Maybe I've changed that in my prepare code and haven't done it here. One thing that we can do actually, I'll just let that generate a bit more and then press F to take us into mining mode, build mode. And let's just see if I can mine things without much problem. So that's fine. And if I go over, presumably back to where I started, I guess that was kind of some fresh terrain over there. So it might be part of a subset, not a megaset, or something like that. Oh yeah, close to Vincent is kind of wherever he has got to. I'm looking for a giant goose. No, can't find it. Well, I'm able to mine in different locations, so presumably things are okay. Although I didn't see, coming up, if I just scroll up, a megaset being created. Oh, what's gone on there? A little bit of a problem. Not sure what happened there. Anyway, let's close that down. Hear my chihuahua singing in the background. Okay, so what do we want to look at? We wanted to, yes, go back into our main module and then go to generate the terrain. That's where we're combining into megasets. Just make sure the code is okay here. Oh, current megaset. It doesn't know what that is. So presumably we have to make that a global variable as well at the top of generate the terrains, because we've got current cube, current subset, and we need current megaset. And let's just check. So if we go down to the code, yeah, at the bottom there, once we've got into this block of code, and we're parenting all the subsets so far to the current megaset, and then we're combining that megaset, and then reparenting all the subsets to the scene again, we're then printing ourselves a console log, to say what megaset we're on. And that's what I didn't see coming up in the terminal. So let's play that again. My chihuahua, by the way, has come inside and she's kind of holding my hand, or her version of holding my hand. She's sitting on my foot. This is quite a nice terrain. It'd be nice to save it. Right, what are we actually testing? Oh yes, where we get megasets. Hopefully I haven't missed one when I was talking about the chihuahua in the terminals there. But what should happen is, like when we're combining all the trees, we'll get like a bit of a jolt, because combining lots and lots of things, like lots and lots of subsets, which have lots and lots of vertices and data, takes a lot of processing. The other thing, sorry, if we don't get a megaset in the next few, I don't know, the next like 30 seconds, then, oh, there's Vincent in the trees. Then I'll go and check to see how many subsets do we need before we actually create one. I mean, the idea is that you do have a massive chunk of land. That was a big jolt. I think that was a tree though. So the trees combining into their own tree megaset. Again, I didn't see a message. Right, that's been about 30 seconds. So we'll stop there. I'll just do some mining maybe over here, just to test things. That's a crucial thing. Once we've made a megaset, then we want to test whether the mining of it works, because we should have now incorporated correctly into the mining system the fact that we can have megasets. No, there's no message megaset number. So let's go to the top of this code in the main module and just see how many subsets do we need. Number of subsets 420. How many combine into a megaset? So 420, maybe too large. Let's just say try on 10. Kind of the lower the number, the less of a jolt you'll get, but more frequently it'll happen. Okay, now I can see it in the console log. We've definitely made a megaset, and I've glitched. Oh dear, I've glitched out of the terrain. Let's start again. There's another bug. This is an old friend, this old bug, glitching us out of the terrain. Maybe what I should do is turn off the trees while I'm testing all of this out. Right, we've got our megaset. So now I'll stop generating. Go into mining. And yes, it looks like we can mine. The only caveat or warning is maybe we're not mining on the megaset, but actually on fresh terrain. So a good thing to do would be to go and leave a console log in the code where we are definitely checking for the vertices in the megaset, and then give ourselves a little message to confirm it. Or do this bad thing, just run around and test it in different places. And if it always works, then we should be safe. Okay, it looks like it works. Now that means that we're getting megasets and subsets and subcubes, and we can mine on all of them. And we can mine actually on places where we've built. So I should be able to mine there and mine there. Okay, brilliant. So the next bit of the video is being able to save, as I demonstrated before, a file, and then in that file put on all the objects that we need to save. So as Varchadspur, I can't say the name, Varchadspur. Varchadspur, maybe it's Varchadspur, said we need to store all the voxels, the positions, the colours and the textures of the whole terrain, and maybe the player position as well. So how do we get all those objects and things onto a file? Well, I'm going to show you. I'll talk you through it. In fact, we should kind of make a new module to do this, but we'll refactor later. We'll do that later. What we'll do is, where we made our new friend, create terrain entities, just underneath there, we'll call this save and load file functions. Very excited face. And then define this as save. Let's write pass for now. And then define load and pass for now. Again, if you haven't seen the pass keyword, I have used it a few times in a few tutorials. It just means do nothing. And that still means that we can run the code. If we left it blank, Python would be angry and it won't let us run the code, because every function needs some code in, or this code block needs to be filled. So I'm just doing that just in case we haven't got to these before testing our code. So what do we want to do? In save, we want to create a new entity that combines all our whoops, I just hit something. Oh, thank goodness. I just hit a weird key and then I saw something loading. I didn't know what it was going to do, but we're okay. Right, so a new entity that combines all our subsets, megasets, which we can place onto a file. Okay, so first let's open/create a file in the folder we are working in, or the working directory. Let's write that, working directory. So that's in the correct place. So let's create a file in the folder we're working, the working directory, that we can save to. Okay, so I'm going to go to my prepared code, and I just did all of that in the input, in the input function. So I haven't made a nice tidy function. Anyway, we're going to need 3 modules, whoops, one called pickle, one called OS, and one called system. So let's go back to our code. So in our save function, at the top in fact, let's import pickle. Can I do this in one line? Import pickle, OS, and system. There we go. Right, I'm going to show you obviously what those are used for in a moment. Back to my prepared code. So what I'm saying is, when I press B, I want to save stuff. So let's which one is sensing someone at the door. I can't hear anyone. Okay. So first we need to create a file. So it's important to put that file where we want it to be. If we just went straight to the code to create a file, it'll probably place it at the user directory on your C drive or something like that. This code will work for both Windows, probably Linux, and Macintosh. I'm working on an Apple, so Mac OS, and it works for me. There are different ways of doing it. What I prepared is something that should work on everyone's computer. Let me know if it doesn't, and let me know if it does work. It'd be fantastic to see it work on Windows. I'm working on, as I said, an Apple Mac right now. So path is going to be our variable, and here we are referring to the OS module. I think it stands for operating system, and we want to get the directory name of where our main module is. So can I bring up so here's my Python Minecraft tutorial folder, and I'm running currently now, where are we? PyCraft tutorial 19. So that is my main module, my main like executable file, if you will. I'm kind of running it. Or if you built all of this, your executable file might just be called PyCraft or something. Anyway, we want to save our terrain in this folder so that we can get it back. We don't want to save it in random places on our user's computer, else we won't know where it is, or we might not have permissions to save it there. Okay, so that gives us the directory name that we want. So os.path directory name, and then we want to put in, well, what file are you thinking about? And if we use the system argument v 0 index, that just means the file I was just showing you, our main module. So this, i.e. whatever file you are placing this line on. Okay, and absolute path is the path to this file, which is very close to the directory name, but if we just use this on its own, it would also return the name of this module, PyCraft 19. So that would mean when we're trying to save our file, it will try to save it on this file, but we don't want that file. We want to save it just in the folder. So there we go. That's what that line does. And then we want to, now that we've got our path, our folder where we want to save it, we now want to change the directory or change the working folder to that place, which is easy. We just write, as you can see here, operating system, I want the change directory function, and I want, where do I want it? I want path, the path to wherever this module is. So those two lines have done all of that. Okay, if you didn't know that before, that may take you hours to find the one that will work on your machine. Anyway, that one's done. Now we can open our file or create our file if it doesn't exist. I think mine already existed. Whoops, that's the wrong. Actually, I have got another picture I wanted to show. This one, Guy Nithikrit, Guy Nithikrit, to unindent. This was 3 weeks ago. He taught me, and I couldn't remember his name in the last few videos. To unindent, you can just use Shift and then Tab. And then it will, that's if you're copying and pasting like a block of code and you want to take out the tab. I was going through every single line to remove the tab, but Guy showed me the light. And yeah, I was very happy. Oh my God, thank you. You've saved me so much typing. Thank you. Right. How do I minimize this? Is it that one? Yeah, okay. Let's just, sorry, minor pause there. So then, now we need to go and create our file, which is quite exciting because we haven't created a file before where we can save stuff. And obviously you can use this without Ursina. So this is how to save files, text files, any kind of file that you want in any of your Python projects. So we're going to use a with keyword, which is very fashionable. This just means once we've opened our file in memory to work with it, we don't have to close it again. It will automatically be closed. So that's why we're using that. So with pickle, because I've got pickle, I can just write open, I think. Basically, I'm doing this, pickle.open. It's going to be my prepared code. Yeah, I've just said open. Let's see if I can keep pickle there for now, just to remind you. So pickle is probably my favorite module. Basically means we can say or convert all the objects that we want to work with, like our terrain dictionary, subsets, vertices, and vector3 for the position of our player. We can convert all of that to bytes, to like binary information. So like pickle it and then unpickle it again into those things that we want to work with, the dictionary, list, vector3. So that's what pickle does. It's like a little machine that goes and prepares things, puts in a file, and we can get it out of the file into its original state. You can also use something called JSON, which means when you look at the data in the file, it's a bit more easier to, well, it's a lot easier to read and work with. So yeah, JSON does a similar thing, and I think they both use like the dump keyword and the load keyword to read things back. Anyway, so we want to open a file, and first parameter is what do you want to call the file, or what file. So I think in my testing, I've called mine, after our friend Anush, I've called it testsave.anush. So let's call this, let's call it pickling. Pickling, that's what we'll call our save file. Pickling, and then what kind of file? You could save it as like a text, I get. Well, you could save it. Could you save it as a text file? Let's try. We'll save it as a text file, but we're not really saving it as a text file. We're not saving it as a string. We're saving it as bytes, which is what we need like pickle for. Also, we want to, with this file, we want to write to it. So we're going to use a W. So this little parameter here is like a little code, meaning I want to write to the file and I want to write it in bytes, not in strings or text or something else. Which also means that your users won't be able to open it up and fiddle around with it and kind of cheat with things, unless they kind of write some code so they deserve to fiddle around with it if they've written some code. Anyway, then we want to, so we'll open this file and we'll call it F. That's kind of traditional. So our file will be called temporarily F, and then we can load stuff or dump stuff into F. If we were going to read from this file, so we open it in the same way, whatever we've called it, and then we use R for read. That would not work if this file doesn't exist yet. Anyway, now, if we're writing to a file and it doesn't exist, then it will automatically be created for us. So that's what this is doing as well. So now, now we want to do this stuff. We want to create a new entity that combines all our subsets, megasets, etc., which we can place onto a file. So E is going to be a new entity, and I don't think we need to do anything in terms of its model or mesh yet. So then we're going to say for, we'll do the subsets first, S in our subsets, we want to, reparent them. So the parent will be E, and then we want to do exactly the same thing for all of our megasets. We'll call that one M. We could call it S, just in case. Now, well done if you've spotted a problem already here. Very well done, because you're probably following along and not exactly sure, and maybe this opening files you've never done before. But you may be thinking, wait a minute, all of the subsets that I'm using, some of them might be disabled. We only really want to save the ones that are currently like live, like enabled, that actually represent some terrain. The same with the subsets. I created, 99 of them, and only maybe one of them exists, or maybe none of them exist. So we don't need to deal with them if they're not enabled, in other words. So when I first created those, they were all disabled. If you haven't done that in your code, make sure you do. I'm just scrolling up just to show you what I'm talking about. There we are. In our new function, create terrain entities, we create all our subcubes and then we disable them before we append them to the subcubes list. We do the same thing with the subsets, and we do the same thing with the megasets. There we go. And I think in generate terrain we then disable, or we should disable all the subsets when we combine them into a megaset, else we'll have problems, perhaps. Let's have a look. In generate terrain, so I'm looking for disable. Yeah, there we go. So subcubes, current cube, so that our subcubes are disabled. We enable the subset we need to work with. Oh, so I guess it's in here that we need to disable them all. Parent to the scene, and what we should also do is disable. Now, I haven't tested that, so previously when I've changed things in terms of disabling certain entities, they've become invisible. So anyway, I'll just leave that there, and maybe a little note to ourselves: visible, delete this line, wink. Actually, I don't like the wink emoticon, emoji. Let's do a smile. Invisible. There we go. Okay, so back to saving, which was up the top, wasn't it? In a nice new function there. So yes, we were just going to say if s enabled is true, then parent it. Otherwise, don't worry about it. And then the same for all the megasets. If m enabled is true, then be parented. So, we can delete the pass here, can't we? We can't delete this pass from load because there's nothing else going on, but now we've started to actually write the save function. We can delete pass. So, we've combined, sorry, we haven't combined them. We've parented all our subsets and megasets, so the existing terrain into E. So E can now be combined. We can say E combine, and then auto destroy will be false. We want to leave all that stuff alone. Let me just pause again, sorry. I'm back again. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that pause. I had to do it. So it's anyway, I'm back. Right. So we've sorry, I just need to rehearse what I was doing. We've opened and / created our file for write as bytes. That's good. Okay. Oh, so we've combined all the subsets and megasets into E entity. We've made the subsets of parents. Yeah, combine. Okay. So the next step then is so now that we've got E, which is like our whole terrain, we are going to create a variable called terrain model, something like that, where we're actually going to build a list. And on that list, we're going to take the individual parts that make up a mesh so that we can store this safely on the file. And, well, we could save it safely by just banging E onto the file. But when I've tried to retrieve it, it doesn't save it as an Ursina entity. It will save it as what's underlying it, like a Panda node path. And that means we can't use it anymore in the way that we were using it. So we're going to break it down. We're going to say e.model triangles. No, not triangles. Vertices will be the first thing. So that's going to be the first item that we're placing on a list. Notice that I've used where's the tab space? There we go. No. There you go. Notice that I've used the square brackets. So terrain model will actually be a list. And we're going to put that onto the file. So to make up a mesh, we need the vertices, then we need the triangles. Triangles is hard to spell. There you go. Triangles, e.model. Now we need the colors, I think, and then the UVs. Oh, American spelling. And then e.UVs. No, model.UVs. Okay, so there's that list. So terrain model has got 1, 2, 3, 4 items on it, or elements. So we've got index 0, 1, 2, and 3. Let me look at my code, my prepared code. UVs are last, and I've done UVs last. Wonderful. Okay. Now, I guess we don't need E anymore. So we don't need this giant entity to be in our scene. So if I just use destroy E, you can probably guess what that does. Also, we don't want our megasets and subsets parented to E, especially since it's been destroyed. And in fact, before we destroy E, just in case we destroy all its children, which I think would happen, we want to go for S in subsets. For every subset, your parent is going to be just the scene. So that's the default situation. And we're going to do the same for the megasets. We're going to reparent you to the scene. There we go. And now we can safely destroy E. If we hadn't done that, when we saved or when we create this entity, which sucks up, combines all our subsets and megasets, it would overlay our terrain, and our terrain would probably go grey or something weird, or just disappear. So anyway, we've kind of just undone what was happening before. So I should comment that. Reparent or set parents of subsets. Set parents to default. I don't need to put subsets and megasets because they're already there, so I can see that. Set parents to default. I might just put scene in there so I'm really clear. Destroy E. So, and destroy our temporary terrain model. Okay. Now, I think we're ready to put everything on the file. Let me go to my prepare code. So yeah, I've just called it new list. Let's call that, okay, keep that tradition. New list. So I'm making a new list. And this list is where we're going to put everything that constitutes our game state. So what Varch was talking about before, our player position, the T dictionary, things like that. So in fact, let's put the first thing as a subject position. So subject position, there we go, you're on there. Second thing, it's gone to new lines, so it's a bit easier to see what index they are. So this is index 0. Then we need the T dictionary, so terrain dictionary. I think that belongs to Varch. Varch is our mining system object, Varch. So we need, what do we need from you? The T dictionary. There we go. So that's a dictionary holding what objects are where. We also need the sub-dictionary, which I haven't used for ages. So let's just scroll down just to show you the sub-dictionary to remind you. Here we are. So here in generating the terrain, in the gen terrain function, line 290 is the important one. We want to check whether there is terrain already here. So we use the sub dictionary, like a subset dictionary, and we get the XZ position of the terrain that we want to create. And if it doesn't equal I, and I means it already exists. Because, where are we? Subdict, there we go. If we're creating a new piece of terrain, we create our dictionary key there in the square brackets, and then we set the value of that dictionary position to I. So we're basically recording where we're creating terrain. So when this function runs again, if we're in the same spot, as long as it doesn't equal I, then we can create a subgroup. If it does, then we come all the way down here, else pass. There was terrain already there, so continue rotation to find a new terrain spot. So that was the other dictionary that we haven't talked about for a while, or haven't seen about for a long time, so we would have forgotten it. However, it's really important. When we load, say, a new terrain, we need to tell that function what terrain is already being created. It doesn't refer to the terrain dictionary to do that. That's for mining and building and other things. Anyway, so we've got that there. Then we want our terrain model. Where are you? Terrain model, there you go. Now, it is itself a list. So it's a bit like these objects, the dictionaries. Whereas subject position was an x, y, z position, a vector 3. These two are dictionaries, and this is a whole list. So it has its own objects on. It's got vertices, triangles, colours, and UVs on it as well. Do I need anything else? All the colours and everything are contained within the terrain model. Let me look at my prepared code. Did I put anything else on there? Oh, the noise. Yeah, we need the noise object, our Perlin noise object. So this is especially since we are using a random seed at the start. So if we start generating new terrain with a new loaded terrain, it will use the pre-existing noise instead of the loaded noise. Anyway, we've got that on there. Okay, we've got that on there. So now we want to place this list. This is the only thing we have to put in the file because it contains everything from our game state so far, except for the built models, the builds model. I'll maybe do that in this video if I've got time, or if I haven't, next video as we get into biomes and things. We just want to get the saving and loading working first of all. Okay, so now I believe, do I just go to, I just want to ask pickle, could you dump, that means put everything on to our file. First parameter is what do you want to put on the file. We want to put the new list on there. There we go, as easy as that. So we're saying pickle, could you now dump everything onto there? I'm just going to be lazy and refer to my code. Oh, right. And then we just clear those. Oh my God, that's the end of the function. So I'm just getting hold of new list. And I just want to clear you because you've got a lot of data on there. 2 dictionaries, etc., etc., etc. So if we just run clear on a list, it clears the list. It empties it of its information. We're not going to use it. We've already dumped it. We've saved it onto that file F. And remember, we're inside this structure here. We've opened the file and we're writing to it. So using the pickle dump is writing to the file. Opening it just means it's ready to be interacted with, read from or written to. It doesn't mean you're opening the file to write to it. It could be either. Okay, so that's there. Clear, and there was one more thing to clear, wasn't there? What was it? Oh yeah, the terrain model. Oh no, I've already taken care of that, haven't I? No, I haven't. Okay. Terrain model clear. There we go. So write object or game state objects to file, and then clear out temporary lists. Right, and that should save our file. So I guess we could go and try that. So we need to go to the input function and bind that to a key, as it were. So here we've got Q or escape to quit, and G for switching on and off. generating, so we could do it underneath here. We could say if our key equals, I would use S, but I'm using it as WSAD, so I'll just use what I've been using before. If we press B, that means save. You can use whatever you want to, and we'll just call save. There we go. So that shouldn't work because, yeah, I need to make all of these things global in save. So maybe I can just, is it just these two lines? Current cube, current subset, megasets. No, we just need the noise, subcubes, subsets, megasets, these guys. Let's just get hold of those. And in our save function, where on earth will this be? Is it down here? No, it's up here, isn't it? New list, yeah. So save, it's on line 149. So we'll make the things that we need to be global, because we're referring to all of those. It may have been okay, it may have worked. Maybe we can, when I've got more time, I'll be able to experiment, but just in case. I don't think there's anything else that we need. Okay, so I need to go back to input. There we go. B, save. Right. So let's just have a look. In our folder at the moment, I think I've got my test save 3, and we're calling this one pickle.txt, aren't we? So let's just run that and see if that works. Your seed, sir, today, sir, is 109. Whoa, crazy things are happening. Did you see the way the terrain... What is happening to the terrain? What on earth is happening? I've done something terribly wrong here. Escape? What on earth have I done? Oh, megaset number 99. Something was going on with the megasets that didn't happen before. It wasn't... Okay, let's just look in the generate terrain. Oh my goodness, what have I done? Something like I haven't reset megasets to 0. Current megaset plus equals 1. It was like it was combined. It was like current megaset was already at 99. Current megaset. It's definitely been made global. Let's just have a look. Current subset is 0. For all S, it says that parent equals megasets, current megaset. Current megasets combine, don't destroy the subsets. For all S in subsets, parent to the scene. Oh, I did say, yeah, I did add this line, didn't I, to disable the subsets. Maybe that's what was creating the nonsense. Oh, I don't need this line again. I've got current subset equals 0 down here. Current megaset plus equals 1. Okay, let's just try running that again. I really didn't want a very, there it is, a really strange bug to happen. It's definitely to do with the subset. It's definitely this line, isn't it? Because I'm disabling something going on. That shouldn't disable the subsets though, the megasets. Yep, and now that's fine. So I'll work on that. At least I kind of anticipated something would go wrong with it. Anyway, oh, this is my... I knew this felt like home. Let's stop generating the terrain for a moment and just focus on the fact that this is Seed 99, our home, where we've developed many things. Right, so there's Baby, the axolotl, and there's Vincent. Right, so now we're going to press B. Hopefully it won't crash and it will create a file. B. It crashes. And it crashes and yeah. Creates this. Pickle has no attribute open. I remember doing this. I was experimenting, wasn't I? I was like, oh, because we've imported the module, we shouldn't have to say pickle.open. Will that be okay if I do that? And clearly not. There we go, open. But I should be able to write pickle dump, right? That is a different scenario, because in my prepared code, I've definitely just said dump there. There we go. Anyway, back to this code. Stop generating. Where are we? 106 and B. Okay, it hasn't crashed and it's still running. So it looks like nothing's happened. We haven't even done a console log. Let's just escape. We'll just have to go and look in the folder now. Let's go and have a look. Oh, pickling txt, and I've not made a text file before. It looks like is that we can actually see the data. Oh my goodness, this is so cool! Wow, so we've got vector3 object. Oh, so this first line will be the player's position. There you go. Wow. And then we've got just loads of vertices and this looks like the dictionary entry. So we've got the dictionary key and then the dictionary value. Wow, if you've never seen like data inside of a file before, this is kind of what it looks like. That's lovely. Right, how exciting. So we've got pickling, there we are, which is our save. Right, so we've got to we've got to get that data back. So I'm out of time now. I really need to go. So let's create just above save. We'll create. Oh no. We've already done it, haven't we? Underneath. Here we are. Load. so. Okay. I'm going to leave this to the next video because I have run out of time. And it's already a very long video, so it makes sense for me to save now. Right, thank you very much for watching. I'll make the next video as soon as I can because we need to finish this mechanism off. At least that means the next video I'll be able to properly do the biome stuff. Also the mining glitch where we can see through the terrain sometimes in that certain circumstance I really want to look at. I'll try and solve that behind the scenes. Anyway. Right, thank you very much. See you next time.